obviously there are now quite a few ways to get into racing, but sometimes people still struggle to find the right path into the sport. So my advice is always prepare yourself. Most important that you are abreast of as much as you can be in the sport of horse racing, or in fairness, whatever it is that you want to become a broadcaster in, what do you want to become part of a particular industry in. So for me, when I got involved in horse racing, or when I tried to become involved in horse racing, the one thing I did about my own preparation was that I tried to know as much about the day-to-day racing, the horses, the jockeys, the trainers, the owners. I tried to understand as much about the politics of the sport. That's obviously a very tricky situation, always trying to keep abreast of it because it's always changing. But I think the first thing that you have to do is to make sure that you are as best prepared for when an opportunity comes along. Because you can't always be responsible for the opportunities. That's entirely up to somebody else. But you can be responsible for being ready for that opportunity. So that's, I think, absolutely vital. Once you've got yourself ready, then you can start making the applications, because opportunity will come along at some point. You have to have faith, you have to have belief, whether it's Racing Media Academy, whether it's going into the British Racing School, whether it's just applying to Racing TV, RMG, Sky Sports Racing, who knows? The opportunities are out there, but it's really important that when they come along, you are ready to take it.
Hi everybody, Tom Bull here. I am a racing presenter for Racing TV, a job that I've always wanted to have, never thought I would really get, but have been lucky enough to have landed it over the last couple of years. And since doing it, I have really enjoyed it. It's been an immense learning experience. It's been everything I hoped and wished it would be. The chance to meet trainers, jockeys, people in the industry, everyone you've looked up to. Also the chance to meet fellow racing presenters who I've looked up to as a young boy growing up, coming into the racing world. I got into it from a slightly strange angle. It wasn't always going to be presenting for me. I wanted to be a racing journalist for most of my, I'd say, teenage years, and a bit of work experience at the Racing Post at 16, 17 led to a Daily Mail job for which I wasn't really ready for, and that came during my time at university where I studied Latin and Greek, which of course didn't help me in my racing world and my racing career, but did that Daily Mail role for a bit when I was at university, and although it didn't last, I was on the racing desk there. The experience that I received there and managed to put on my CV was very helpful in getting me a job at the Racing Post as a temporary data inputter. The day after I left university, I emailed my contact there, for whom I'd done work experience for a few years before, and said, could I please have any kind of role going at all, whatever it is that you might have, even if it's the most menial thing possible. And they brought me in alongside a team from a recruitment agency to do this data inputting, which didn't require any kind of racing knowledge or whatever. It was just a very menial kind of methodological job. So I did that, and bearing in mind I was the only person who knew anything about racing at the time, I would have been 21, 22. They kind of noticed this, and so they made me the head of the team there, which wasn't a particularly big deal. But from then, I managed to go into a different part of the Racing Post and get another job within that company. And I was doing kind of the form and the card structures and the pages, a bit of kind of graphic design, that type of thing. And it was from there really that I progressed. I did a lot of journalism when I was there in my own time for like the Racing Football Outlook, the Weekender, a bit for the Racing Post itself, and also for the supplements like Guide to the Jumps, Guide to the Flat. And from there, I got a job at the Sun on their racing desk doing journalism. And that was when I was about 26. And then I was there for 2 years. And in the final year of that, I started doing a YouTube channel for them, doing a bit of presenting with some of the journalist guys I was with. And it kind of got sponsored by Betway. So by the time I left there when I was 28, having applied for Racing TV position as a presenter, I had a little bit of experience in presenting. I'd never done live TV, but by that point I had enough kind of on-camera experience to get an interview at Racing TV, and then to get a second interview, which was the screen test. And from there, luckily, I passed it, and yeah, here I am now. So 2 years into racing TV. If I had any advice to give to anyone getting into it, be really keen, be as enthusiastic as possible. And I wouldn't necessarily say that in the journalistic world and in the media world, qualifications are as important as enthusiasm and work ethic and experience. For example, having done Latin and Greek at university, that hasn't helped me in the slightest. I'd have been better off doing something journalistic-y or media-y, but didn't do it. And as a result, the reason I got into where I am now is because I did a lot of work experience in my own time. I had to work pretty hard, and yeah, I suppose ultimately, you know, I've been lucky enough to be given this position at Racing TV. It's a lot of fun. Every day is a new challenge, and the experience that I've had over the last 2 years, I'm starting to get more and more kind of presenting gigs and doing slightly bigger meetings, which is great. It's really, really exciting. And it's where you want to be, isn't it? I mean, if you're into racing, if you like racing, you want to be doing the big days. You want to be doing the Cheltenham festivals, the Aintree festivals, the Ebor meeting, the Glorious Goodwood, Royal Ascot, that kind of thing. And so I feel like I'm steadily working my way up now, and got a great team behind me. Working at Racing TV is fantastic fun. Everyone's good fun, but they also love racing, and it's just like a really nice camaraderie, a really nice spirit in the workplace. So yeah, that's where I am, how I got where I am today. It's been, yeah, pretty long, kind of 8-9 year journey, but absolutely worth it. It's a tremendously fun job to have, and if any of you are getting to the racing world, I would highly recommend it and encourage it. We need as many young people getting into racing as possible to try and keep this great sport of ours going. It faces its challenges. We've had our problems recently, but ultimately the sport of kings will always shine through, and hopefully you can help the sport along the way too. Anyway, best of luck if you're getting to racing, and that's how I got to where I am.
Hello everyone, my name is Callum Helliwell. I am a TV researcher, reporter and presenter for Sky Sports Racing and the Jockey Club of Saudi Arabia. I've been asked to tell you what makes a good presenter, and any advice I would want to give to people who are trying to go down that TV route. I think so many things I could say that makes a good reporter and presenter, but the first thing I want to say is an attitude that they really want to learn and have a passion for the sport. There are some things that you just can't escape. They're the early mornings, the late nights, all the hard work, and if you're willing to put that in, you can only do it because you absolutely love what you're doing. So I would say the first thing that you need is an absolute passion for the sport. I think that comes across. If you're doing something and you don't really like it that much, I think that comes across to the audience. And I think it's crucial that we in racing, and those who are privileged enough to be able to get in front of a camera and discuss racing to people, is have a passion for it, and try and really convey how much we love the sport to other people watching, because people love passion. So that would be my first thing that I would say is a good in a TV presenter. I think you need stage presence, and you need to be able to command space. You need confidence. You need to be able to approach anybody and feel like people can approach you as well. There's I work with a lot of jockeys on a day-to-day basis, and the one thing I try and make myself is as approachable as possible, to do post-race interviews and try and get pre-race chats and make sure that no one feels like I'm just turning up and I'm ruining their day. So try and make sure that everything is positive and the whole experience is a nice conversation. I think that's crucial as well. You've got to make sure that these interactions that you're having with connections of the owners, trainers, jockeys, syndicates, anybody that's involved, racecourse officials, BHA stewards, you've got to make sure that the interactions that you're having are largely positive. Even if you're asking tough questions, which you have to do, there's a way in which you can do it, and there's a way in which you can make the person answering the question feel authentic and feel like they're being heard. If I was to give any advice, it would be to listen to everybody that you're speaking to. It's crucial not to have a list of questions planned out early on. You can have some talking points that you want to hit, but listen, because there's nothing worse than someone saying, you go to interview a jockey and they've got 4 rides throughout the day, and you've already written, I'm going to talk about ride 1, 2, 3 and 4. Everyone can read at home. They know what rides that jockey is going to have, but that jockey might give you a nugget of information that you didn't see coming, and that's a conversation pass. That's something you can ask them about. So it's crucial to listen to the answers and base your questions off the answers that you hear. And finally, I just want to say, enjoy it. It's an incredible job. I pinch myself every day because I can't believe what I'm doing. I'm very, very lucky. I'm a kid that didn't come from a racing background. I rode. That's how I got into the sport. I rode out for various people. I worked at various studs. I did so many courses and had so many opportunities through those courses to do what I do now. But at the end of the day, just enjoy it and remember how lucky you are to work in an industry which you're so passionate about, and for a sport that you would spend all your time talking about if you didn't work in it. So yes, that would be my words of advice. So make sure you listen, make sure you take into account what people are saying, and then mainly make sure you enjoy it because it's class. It's such a good thing to do for a job. I still can't believe I do it every day. It's awesome. Thank you very much. And yeah, if you've got any questions, just hit me up with a message. I'm on all the social medias. I'm pretty rubbish at social media, but yeah, drop me a message, drop me an email, just let me know what you're thinking. And if you want any words of advice, I'm always happy to help.